And big restrictions on households mixing. Without agreement, all eyes are now on the Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, who's hosting a briefing in Downing Street later this afternoon. Well, our correspondent Dan Johnson is in Manchester for us now. Dan.
Yes, Simon, some people will say this is a failure of politics, that there's been no agreement and that there's been an unacceptable delay in the meantime, which may well have put more lives at risk. But there's a lot at stake here, and there was agreement that extra measures in some form have been needed for this city. There have just been some major sticking points about exactly what they should be and what sort of package should come with them. So that midday deadline has been and gone, and people here still don't have an answer. This city's been waiting for an agreement on tougher restrictions that's eluded politicians and left people here wondering what's to come and when.
Today, a decision needs to be made. Are we either closing back down? Because nobody knows where they're going.
Surely the local politicians are the ones who are going to know best.
If they're going to lock it down, do it now.
Local leaders have held out for more money to support workers and further evidence that extra measures will be effective.
You know, we're all wanting to protect people's health, but what I would say to the government is health is about more than controlling the virus. If we leave people in a tier 3 lockdown that could go on through the winter, where people can't go to their normal place of work, I think we could end up with a mental health crisis.
A song of freedom for a city locking down once more, because people here are suffering. Trevor's sister, a nurse, is herself in hospital with the virus.
Well, she sounded quite poorly yesterday, but I hope, she's recovering, like she says.
And he worries about the wider possible implications.
It seems to be getting worse and worse. People seem to be getting more angrier right across the board as far as I can see it. Due to the way it's kind of gone already, it could lead to trouble.
This greengrocer's has 100 years of history here, and Mark relies on the trade of local restaurants.
I can understand where Andy Burnham's coming from because of all the local businesses around here which are suffering at the moment.
Will people accept restrictions imposed by the government?
Well, I think they will. I think people are just fed up and just want to get it done.
But don't underestimate the bitterness this to and fro has left. Kirsty works at the university here.
You know, there's always been a bit of a divide between the north and the south. I really hope that they can sort out their differences and put them aside and decide what is actually going to be the best for the north.
You almost feel like town's been evacuated. The street, it's like a ghost town.
And listen to Amanda in the Caribbean cafe next door, where patience is running low.
There is part of me that does want to know which tier we're in for certain, so we can have some clarity, because there is no clarity anywhere at the moment, really, is there? Surely now they should have had an answer.
And tempers are being tested in Parliament too.
Last night, the Communities Secretary offered just £22 million for a city region of 2.8 million people. That's less than the £25 million he granted to his own town centre. Why does this government hate Greater Manchester?
Greater Manchester is being treated exactly the same as every part of our United Kingdom. These are national support schemes that have put in place that help the most vulnerable in our society. He raised a number of questions. As he will know, there are national schemes to protect businesses, to protect employees, and to provide support to his local authority.
The next move is delicate, because these are serious questions of liberty, health, and how we keep people safe from the virus and its wider impacts. These are tough decisions, and this is a test of who sets the rules and how best to make sure they're followed. Yes, this is serious stuff, and you can't fail to be struck by the strength of feeling here. There are people actually gathered outside Manchester Library, outside the town hall here, waiting to see if there is going to be any news on what their future will be, what sort of restrictions they are to live under. But there's been no agreement to date, and this is a tense and confusing time here. There have been different figures bandied around for what the financial settlement should be, what the intensive care capacity numbers are. People are losing track of exactly who and what to believe. But we understand this lunchtime the Prime Minister has spoken to Andy Burnham, the Mayor of the city region here, and unless there's to be some sort of last-ditch deal announced this afternoon, the ball now lies firmly in the court of the Prime Minister.
Dan, thank you very much for that. Well, let's talk to our political correspondent Chris Mason, who's in Westminster. So the deadline has passed.